Mithili ji, you are not, please do not come for this class. This is only
Okay.
for the people who've been regularly attending. Yeah. So
Which
I'm,
adhyay? Which adhyay you're taking?
and we are doing chapter 4, but these are only for the students who have been studying with me for some time.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll unmute you. Okay.
Om Namo Narayana.
Om Namo Narayana.
Poonam is calling. Just 1 minute.
Om Namo
Hello. Ha,
Narayana.
Poonam. Just 1 minute. Okay. Let me just silence my phone. Yes. Namo Narayana. Okay. Yes. So we are going to do the summary. And before that, let's do our Dhyana Shloka. Today we'll be only doing the Dhyana Shloka. Its summary is quite long, eh? Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashatyayiniim Amba Tvamanusandathami Bhagavad-gīte bhavatveshinim. Namostu te vyasa-vishala-buddhe Pullara-vindayata-patra-netra Yena tvaya bharata-taila-purnaha Prajvalito jnanamaya-pradeepaha Prapanna-parijataya Stotra-vaitraika-panaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gita-mrita-duhe Namaha Vasute Vasutam Devam Kamsa-chanura-mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Bhishmadrona-tata Jayadratha-jala Gandhara-nilotpala Shalyagrahavati Kripena Vahani Karnena Velakula Ashwattama Vikarna Gora Makara Duryodhana Vartini Sutirna Kalu Pandavai Rananadi Kaivartaka Keshavaha Parasharyavachasarojamamalam गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितं लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद्भारतपङ्कजं कलिमलप्रध्वंसे न श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपात्तमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः. Keep your books with you, because every now and then I'll refer to a verse. Of course, it will come on the screen, but some may not come on the screen. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's look at this. So welcome to all of you, and let us go for our summary. Before that, we'll just do these prayers. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krito Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ श्री दयानन्देश्वराय नमः। So in the fourth chapter, we mostly have 3 sections. So as you can see on the slide, the 3 sections are given there, the nature of avatara, and that's what I'm going to talk about just now. Okay. So Ishvara avatara is discussed from verse number 1 to verse number 15. And here Krishna shows us the difference between Krishna avatara and Krishna's, meaning Ishvara's avatara and Jiva's Janma. Okay. Superficially, it looks like both of them are the same. Because Lord also seems to have parents. Krishna had parents. No, he had a date of birth. That's why we are celebrating Janmashtami. And Lord Krishna grew up like all of us do, like all other human beings. He was a child, then he was a young man, like that. He also grew up like everybody else. So it looks like the Jiva and this Lord, who is in avatara form, are the same. So we should really know what is the technical difference between Jiva's Janma and Ishvara's avatara. So we've seen, and this is a summary, that basically there are 3 differences. One is at the level of the cause. Second is at the level of the very nature or the swarupam. And the third is at the level of the purpose, the uddeshyam or the lakshyam, right? So at causal level, we saw the difference that Jiva's Janma is caused by ignorance. Right? Because of ignorance, Jiva has got a ego. Just one sec. Monica, I'm muting you, okay? Jiva has got ego, means is identified with the body and mind. And because of this ahankara, ego, this identification with body and mind, Jiva has got punyam and papam. And because of punyam and papam, this Jiva takes up a body. Therefore, for Jiva, the Janma is a fall. From his complete being, he is now taken up a body and considering himself as body and mind, he is considering himself apurna. Therefore, for Jiva, it is patan, right? It is a fall. Because he is helpless. And ajnanam, ignorance, is the cause, the karanam. Whereas in the case of Ishvara, the cause of the avatara is because of Ishvara's sarvajnatvam, that is the omniscience, sarvajnatvam. And because of the omniscience of the Lord, as well as the compassion, of the Lord as though descends down to uplift the manushya, the human being. For example, supposing there's a person, he falls into a well, right? He falls into the well, means he's gone down. Now, supposing there is somebody who wants to rescue him, he also goes down the well. But here we won't say he falls, he descends down. Why does he descend? To rescue this person who has fallen in the well. That's why the word avatara, avatarati, the one who comes down. Why? Purely out of compassion. Comes down to help this struggling jiva. Okay? If you look in the avatara, Rama's avatara, so many problems Rama had. Krishna's avatara, so many problems he had. But they all sail through all of them untouched. Iti. So, Jiva's Janma or birth is because of ignorance, and Ishvara's birth, Janma, Avatara, is because of what? Is because of his omniscience and his compassion. The second difference that we saw was the nature of both of them. We saw two differences there. The Jiva was born because of ignorance, and therefore Jiva is what? He is bound. Baddha. He has the sense of apurnata. Okay? So he does not know what his higher nature is. He doesn't know that I am Purna Atma iti. And therefore he feels bound. He is Baddha Swarupa. Does Ishvara have this problem? Ishvara does not have this problem. You know, Rama is never going to complain. Krishna will never complain. Iti. In fact, Krishna was smiling all the time, even when he was killing, all the Rakshasas, when he was killing all the adharmis, he was smiling. Iti. Smilingly he killed. So, Jiva is Baddha Swarupa and Ishvara is Mukta Swarupa. Right? He is Mukta. Then the second difference is a technical difference. In the case of Jiva, Jiva is made out of the Pancha Bhutas, is made out of the 5 elements. In Shastra's model, is made out of the 5 elements. Out of Maya came the 5 elements, and out of the 5 elements came the Jiva's body. Ishvara's body is not like that. Ishvara's body did not require the 5 elements. Straight away from Maya, it was born. Directly, without involvement of anything. If you look at Narasimha, very easy to understand this when we look at Narasimha, this thing. Narasimha example is what? Parikshit just, he was praying over there. Kamsa and he was just praying, and what happened? Suddenly the pillar opened and Narasimha came out. Right? So what birth was there for him? Which mother was carrying him in the stomach? Nothing. It was just Lord, by directly through his Maya, he could manifest himself, and he manifested himself directly. Iti. So, directly produced by Maya. Whereas here, in the case of Jiva, it is through the Panchabhutas. Iti. Then at the level of the Lakshyam, the purpose, iti. Why is the Jiva born? Jiva's Janma is for the purpose of exhausting the Punya and Papa. Now, Punya and Papa can be exhausted only through experience of Sukha and Dukkha. Right? And Sukha Dukkha can be experienced only when there is a body. In Sushupti, what happens? In Sushupti, the mind goes to sleep, the body is not available, iti. So, we don't have a body which is operating in the world. We don't interact with any kind of world. And therefore, in Sushupti, we don't exhaust Punya and Papa. In dream, we exhaust our Punya and Papa. How? Through dream body. There is a dream body, there is a dream world, and there is dream Sukha Dukkha, through which the Punya Papa is exhausted. This is what Shastra has to say. So Shastra accepts exhaustion of our Punya and Papa either through our own physical body or through the dream body or any body. But basically, body has to be there, Shariram has to be there. So we assume our body to exhaust the Punya and Papa. And that is why the type of body is determined by the type of Punya and Papa fructifying. A cockroach has got different type of Punya and a different type of Papa fructifying, A dog has also got a different type of karma which is fructifying. We have different type of karma, iti. So the purpose of Jiva's birth is karma phala exhaustion, iti. And this is true for all beings, not only human beings, any other being which is there in this universe. It is true for all of them. Wherever there is a body, there is exhaustion of the past karma, iti. That is Jiva's Janma. Whereas Ishvara's avatara, okay, is not for punya or papa kshayam, because Lord is punya papa atita. He transcends punya and papa. There is no punya papa for Lord because he doesn't have ajnanam. He doesn't have ignorance. Then what is the purpose of avatara? 7th verse of 4th chapter. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. So Bhagwan is saying, hey Bharata, hey Arjuna, whenever there is a decline of dharma and there is an increase in adharma, then I manifest myself. Iti. So, Ishvara is the Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, Karta. Okay? That means he's responsible. Ishvara, the Karta, the one because of whom there is Srishti, because of whom there is Sthiti. Sthiti means continuation, sustenance of the Srishti, and there is Laya, the dissolving as we have in Pralaya. Sorry. As the Sthiti Karta, Lord maintains the creation, right? As the Sthiti Karta. Sthiti means the one who sustains, the one who maintains, the one who has to maintain. So he maintains the creation, and for that purpose of maintenance, if it is necessary, he will come down. He will take the form of an avatara to maintain and protect the creation. Lord has given us all a method of maintaining the creation. And what is that? Living a life of dharma. That is the way of maintaining the creation. Dharma operates on the principle we all know. What is the principle? What I want from others should be my, guide for what I want to offer to others. Iti. If I don't want others to steal from me, I should not steal. If I want others to be kind to me, I should be kind. Iti. So dharma becomes the manual for creation. Like we have so many gadgets and we get manual for that. You have to read the manual. Similarly, dharma is the manual for creation. Lord has manufactured, this creation, and Lord has given us a manual. And Bhagwan expects that we human beings will understand what is dharmic living using our common sense. And if we don't have too much common sense, then Vedas are the guide, Gita is the guide, etc. And even that we don't use. Refuse to, follow the manual given by Ishvara, then Bhagwan says, I am forced to come down as an avatara. I will take avatara. And this avatara maintains creation in two ways. One is the very drastic method, It's like the doctor. डॉक्टर ने देखा कि गॉल ब्लैडर ठीक नहीं है, उसके अंदर स्टोन्स पड़ी है, तो गॉल ब्लैडर को खत्म कर दो, निकालो. अपेंडिसाइटिस है, निकालो. In the same way, Ishvara also, where there are adharmic people, militants, terrorists, all malignant, iti. So then Bhagwan says they have to do surgery. Militantodectomy. He has to remove them. Okay? Surgical strike kar lete hain. Okay? But this is a very drastic procedure, no? अभी हर ऑर्गन को हम निकाल देंगे तो हमारी बॉडी में कोई ऑर्गन ही नहीं रहेगी. थोड़ी भी कोई प्रॉब्लम दे दी उसको निकाल दो, ये नहीं चलेगा. इति, So Bhagwan also uses a second method to protect and maintain the creation, and that is through educating humanity. In certain avatars, he destroyed Rakshasas. As we said, Narasimha Avatara. And so this Bhagwan has got a twofold method. Okay, it is twofold. One is destroying and the other is educating. Bhagwan tells us all, be responsible. Some sadhus will explain it like this. Human being has got a head over the shoulders. over the stomach. The stomach is below, the head is above. But look at animals. Animals, four-legged animals, what do they have? Their head is in the same level as the stomach. That means their head is only as much developed as to fill their stomach. But look at us human beings. Our head is above, the stomach is below. We are not tiryang. Tiryang means those animals, we are not, means who are horizontal, we are vertical. Iti. And so, we cannot just live for the sake of eating. We have more responsibility. So, Ishvara keeps educating that take your responsibility. Okay. So, in Rama Avatara also, he lived as a role model. And in Krishna Avatara, aha, can we say Krishna becomes our role model? We will do whatever Krishna does? Hey Narayan, no, 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 no. Because from his birth itself, he started stealing butter. Iti. So we don't do what Krishna does, You do what Rama did and do what Krishna said. Now you say, no, no, I want to do what Krishna did. Acha, you want to do what Krishna did? Then you take your dining table and you lift it above your head. Single-handed. With one hand you do that. Mountain की जरूरत नहीं है. अपने dining table को ही lift कर लो. Then you can start stealing, etc. Which Krishna did. So if I have to follow Krishna, either I should follow in all respects. पूरी तरह से. उन्होंने राक्षस वाकस को मार डाला, ये सब करो. Or if I can't do that, better I follow what he said. Okay, do what Rama did, follow what Krishna said. So the purpose of Avatara, Krishna's purpose for Avatara is Dharma Rakshanam, Veda Rakshanam, educating the people. And Krishna says, Sa evayam mayat, this is third verse on 4th chapter. Sa evayam mayatedya yoga prokta puratanaha bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hyetaduttamam. So he says, hey Arjuna, this very ancient yoga, that ancient yoga, which is this which I am teaching you, it was taught to me, long ago. But I am teaching it to you today. Iti. Why? Considering that you are my devotee, you are my friend. So, through you, Krishna is saying, I am reviving the Vedic teaching. Revival of Dharma, both by teaching and by destroying the adharmic people, is purpose of Avatara. So we saw cause is different, nature is different, purpose is different. Right? And Krishna is saying, yeah, I taught the Veda in the beginning of the creation. Again as Rama Avatara. And again I'm reteaching the same wisdom through this Krishna Sharira also. Okay. And then having talked about Avatara, Krishna concludes the discussion by making this beautiful statement here that Janma Karma cha me divyam yo evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. So Krishna is saying that whoever knows the truth of the Lord completely, that person will get freedom. There is an emphasis here. Who knows the truth of the Lord completely. Because Lord has got two types of nature, two taraki nature. One is his higher nature and one is his lower nature. The higher nature is never, never, never subject to birth and death. In the Purusha Saktam, we have this. Prajapatis charati garbe antaha ajayamano bahuda vijayate tasya dhira parijananti yonim marichinam padamichanti vedasaha. So in this Purusha Suktam, Lord says that Lord is born without being born. Ajayamano bahuda vijayate iti. अरे ऐसे कैसे बोल सकता है? What kind of contradiction this is? How will we reconcile this contradiction? So here, from the higher nature or from the standpoint of the one who dwells in the body. Hello, I'm not saying the body. The one who dwells in the body. Who is that? Consciousness. So from the standpoint of consciousness, okay, from the standpoint of Ishvara's nature as consciousness, Ishvara is birthless, has no birth. And from the standpoint of the superficial body, either as an avatara or as any body, your body, my body, any body, it's all Ishvara's body only, he is subject to birth and death. That's what Krishna is saying. From the standpoint of Krishna Paramatma, Ajopi san avyayatma, bhutanam ishwaropi san. Arjuna, I'm not born. I'm never born. Yet, it appears that I am born. So the one who knows that from his higher nature, he is birthless, iti, okay? And from the lower nature, he has got both birth and death. That person is the one who knows. And in 7th chapter, we will see later, it is called as Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti. The one who knows both Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti, that person will be liberated. So like this, Krishna concludes the Avatara topic, with the 15th verse. That one word thing went away. There was one more thing over here that went away. Okay. And this is unique in Gita because no other chapter has got this, no other chapter has discussed Avatara. And in Avatara verse also, the very important verse was Yada Yada, the purpose of the Avatara. Yada Yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham iti. Okay. Now the next topic, okay. I had to click. Okay. Next topic is, okay, Jnana Karma Sannyasa. Now, this is the central theme of not only the 4th chapter, it is the central theme of the whole Gita. Okay, very, very important portion from verse number 16 to verse number 24. Here, Krishna wants to point out that there are 2 types of renunciation. 2 types of sannyasa is there. One type of sannyasa is what we know, the regular sannyasa, person who has become a sannyasi, you can say like me, So that is the regular sannyasa. And in this sannyasa, what happens? The person gives up all karma. Karma here means duties. All duties are given up, Okay. Because if you're living in society, then lot of duties are there. If family is there, then family duty is there. Duty to society is there. Now election is coming. Election duty is also there. Iti. And sannyasi, he does not vote. Sannyasi ko wo duty bhi nahi hai. Okay. So no duties. Then, but does that mean sannyasi koi karma means he's not doing any duty, so he will keep eating and increase his weight? That's what I'm doing in winter. But anyway. Is that what he's going to do? No. What is the sannyasi's duty? He is supposed to dedicate his self, his whole life for the pursuit of self-knowledge. Okay, that is his duty. Iti. He has to attain. That is his pursuit. Attain the highest, and if he has attained, then share it with others. Iti. So this is called as external renunciation. Means ritually he has gone through the ritual process, Chaturtha ashrama. Very ritually he gives up karma, taking blessings of Lord, taking blessings of all the elements, in front of the sun you stand over there. Your guru is there, he is there, and all other guru bhais are there. With all of them as witness, you say all the Praisha mantras. That means the sannyasa mantras, and this is called as Vividisha sannyasa, where you do formal renunciation for the sake of knowledge. Ashrama sannyasa. There is a second type of sannyasa, which has nothing to do with external. Nothing. It is purely inner. Inner sannyasa meaning discovering certain detachment, okay? Exactly like the lotus leaf, which is in the water. The drops of water are there in it, but the leaf is untouched by it. Or you can take a more modern example like tawa. Okay? Our Teflon tawa. टेफ्लॉन तवा में आप डोसा बनाओ, डोसा नॉर्मली इतनी स्टिकी वस्तु है, पर ये टेफ्लॉन तवा पे वो स्टिक नहीं करती है, डज नॉट स्टिक. So this inner renunciation means the person has become like Teflon tawa. Okay, there's nothing sticks, goes through life, but nothing is sticking. Iti. How is this possible? By understanding Satyam and Mithya. That's all. He has understood Satyam Mithya. So self-knowledge has to be there. Now I'm just taking a slight digression, okay, just to make my point strong. I say let us look at a Jnani's mind and Ajnani's mind. Now when some event occurs, okay, it impacts me depending on the understanding of myself. When I consider myself a jiva, identified with the body and mind, the event is going to be evaluated by me, by myself, with reference to myself first. Is this event favorable to me? Is it unfavorable to me? Is it neutral for me? इस तरह से हम उसको इवेल्युएट करेंगे इति. एंड अकॉर्डिंगली 3 वस्तु होगा. एक तो क्या होगा, somebody is speaker is on. Causing echo, please. Okay, मैंने म्यूट कर दिया. So accordingly 3 things will happen. एक तो हमारे अंदर एक कंक्लूजन आती है डिपेंडिंग ऑन द इवेंट. दूसरी हमारी कोई रिस्पॉन्स होगी इवेंट के कारण. We will do some response and a memory of the whole thing will go in our mind. Now I have taken the example of weather has become cold. Okay, weather is very cold. So that weather ka impact will be in, I forgot to draw this. This arrow should also be there. Weather is impacting me. Okay, I have an impact. So what do? I will evaluate. This is Ajnani, Jiva. The person, this Ajnani, evaluates whether is this weather favorable for me? Is it unfavorable for me? Is it neutral for me? Okay. And a conclusion is formed in the mind according to whatever this thing is. Response is what? I am cold. I am cold and miserable. Or if it is somebody like Anita Bhatia, she'll say, how nice, ye cold to badi maja aa rahi hai. I am very happy, she will say. Another person will say, I'm not much affected by the cold. All the Punjabi putras, the South Indian putris will all say, I am miserable. Ye thand bahut hai. I cannot manage it. So there is some conclusion taking place in the mind because of the event, which is centered on I. I am. And उसके साथ साथ कोई conclusion हम डाल देंगे. I am cold, etc. And the response is, okay, I am really feeling cold, then activity, turn on the heater. And साथ साथ में memory भी उसकी हो जाती है. And that's why we will say last year बड़ी ठंड थी, 2 दिन पहले बड़ी ठंड थी, उसकी memory भी. अभी ज्ञानी की mindset देख, weather is there. What happens to the Jnani? Jnani perceives the sensation of cold. Correct? What does the Jnani conclude? Jnani concludes body is cold. Jnani doesn't say I am cold. Jnani's conclusion is body is cold. Okay. So he is very objectively, he has noted that body is cold, and very objectively he will turn on the heater if it's necessary to give some warmth. It will turn, and memory of this will also form for the Gnani. But the difference is the Gnani does not lump the cold that the body is feeling on himself. He never says, I am cold, iti. He will never mistake that, because he has very well assimilated the knowledge that what is I is changeless consciousness. It is an infinite openness, okay, in which there is an appearance of the weather external to the body, and there is the body, and there is the effect it has on the body. And this appearance does not in any way change the consciousness that he is. Why? Because the consciousness that he is changeless. It is Satyam. And its apparent manifestations, such as the weather, the body, the effect on the body, all of it is Mithya. This the Gnani understands very, very well. It is very well assimilated. Iti. For both Agnani and Gnani, the body mind is there. So karma association cannot be avoided, because body and mind are integrally related to the world. Therefore, interactions will be there. Iti. Yet the way the interaction is perceived is radically different. Agnani does not recognize the presence of Atma, in whose presence this is taking place. वो आत्मा की presence, which is the presence of consciousness, जो वो meditation में हमने point out किया था, कि मन में जो भी होए साथ साथ उसके साथ साथ consciousness की presence है, इति. So Agnani is not acknowledging the presence of Atma, iti, whereas Gnani does. That's the only difference. Okay? Jnani recognizes that this Atma that he is, this consciousness that he is asangaha. Okay, asangaha. Asangaha means no sanga. It is already. It is ever detached. It doesn't have to detach from anything. It is already detached. It is like space. Just as space is associated with everything, but it is not polluted by anything. Another better example is my movie screen and movie example. मूवी स्क्रीन पे मूवी हो रहा है, पर जो भी मूवी हो रहा है वो क्या स्क्रीन को अफेक्ट करती है? स्क्रीन को तो कुछ नहीं होता है, और मूवी स्क्रीन नहीं होगा तो मूवी इज नॉट पॉसिबल. इति. ओके. So Agnani has to conduct, the person who doesn't have this knowledge must conduct self-inquiry and clearly recognize that I am not the body. Body is I am not the body. Why is body I? Because everything is consciousness. Iti. Everything is a manifestation on consciousness, but he has to recognize this Satyam Mithya. Okay. So body-mind complex is part of the creation, and therefore it will interact with the creation. And ठीक है, let those guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. Let those interactions take place. Iti. It's like a cinema actor, he's playing the role of a beggar. बड़ी अच्छी तरह से. Imagine if Amitabh Bachchan is playing the role of a beggar, and how well he will do the acting. इतना रोएगा, आपकी आंख में भी आंसू आ जाएंगे. इति. That well he will do. But all the time that he is crying, okay, because he has total, and he doesn't need glycerine, he doesn't need onion, कुछ नहीं चाहिए. वो अपने आप खा रहे, क्योंकि he has identified with his role of beggar so well. But even though he is identified with the role of beggar and is doing this genuine crying, still at the back of the mind he knows that I am not a beggar. I am the actor. Iti. Okay. So this is a very, very important understanding, which is the only solution for human suffering, the emotional suffering that we go through. Pain to hoga, because karma phala, if karma phala is to come through us in the form of some pain, it will come. But the emotional suffering which is there need not be there at all. Iti. So removing ignorance and recognizing one's true nature, what does it require? It requires Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Iti. So through Jnana Yoga, through Vedanta Vichara, the person learns to detach from action internally, nothing external. He understands in his heart. This is called internal renunciation, which is the name Jnana Karma Sannyasa. In English, if we translate, it means renunciation of action through knowledge. Okay, renunciation of action through knowledge. That means without physically stopping action. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, continuing with that. Iti. So one Swamiji gives a beautiful example. He says it's like selling a house and continuing to live in the same house. When you have sold the house and you continue to live in the same house, the house is the same, no? Everything is the same. Yet in your mind, there is one very important change, that the ownership is not there anymore. If it is our house, then 10 बार हम सोचेंगे एक, you want to ठोको one nail, you will think 10 times कि करो नहीं करो, टूट जाएगा, वॉल में ये हो जाएगा, it will not look nice. ये सब हम सोचेंगे. पर जब अपना नहीं है, मारो ठोको, you don't think anything about it. बस one signature का change होता है. ये ज्ञानी के केस में क्या है? Because he has sold the house called the body to the Lord. And he continues to live in the same house, this body house. Just a small signature, no? He has put and he has handed over to the Lord. Okay, this is that internal sannyasa. So, with reference to the body, the Jnani is a trustee of the body. And therefore, he handles the body because now it is Ishvara's property. So therefore, it's Ishvara's property. He will look, it is like how I said the same principle I will use because I am not a very tidy person. So I said, now I am going to get into Rupa Yoga. Rupa Yoga means expression of beauty. Like, जैसे नरेश गार्डन में ना उसकी फ्लावर्स डालती है और फिर उसकी आनंद, because it is an expression of Bhagwan. The beauty of the flowers is expression of Bhagwan, and you offer that beauty to Bhagwan. Then it becomes Rupa Yoga, when it becomes an offering to your Bhagwan. When it is an offering to yourself, that, okay, my garden is beautiful, I feel pleased, then that is not Rupa Yoga. When it is offered to Bhagwan, okay, because this is Bhagwan's garden, and here the flowers I put are Bhagwan's flower, and therefore I love to do this, I offer it to Bhagwan. In the same way, my untidy house I'm trying to keep clean by the same principle. This is my Ganesha's house. This is his home, and therefore I should keep it, tidy at least. Without maid, it is not an easy task. So there is this internal transformation in the Jnani, and this is what Krishna is calling as Jnana Karma Sannyasa. Okay? What is that? Renunciation through knowledge. Okay? Renunciation of action through knowledge. Okay, and it's a very, very beautiful section with many important verses. So here's one. Yasya sarve samarambhaha. This is number 19. Kama sankalpa varjitaha. Jnanagnidagdha karmanam. Tamahu panditam buddhaha. So, here it is said, the wise call that person as learned whose actions are devoid of self-centered desires. Okay? And the planning, supposing you have self-centered desire, I want to eat pizza, then I will plan for it, no? So the person's actions are devoid of that, and his actions have been totally burnt away by the fire of wisdom. It's a huge transformation. Okay? That means the person has recognized their purnatvam, has recognized that I am not a karta. That's the only way you can burn away all the karma. Iti. And so, all the interactions which the Jnani has with the world, they're all very objectively seen. Okay? Consequences are also objectively seen. And because of that, the reactions are the reactions towards the situations are very, very different. It is not that the Gnani does not see the difference between success and failure. Sab kuch he know. Exactly, because the Buddhi is the same, is going to have all of that. But, you know, I'll give you an example. ये मजा आ गई मुझे. Sometimes a parachute is used in certain types of situations to reduce the speed. Example, reduce the speed of a plane as it lands on a very short runway. Okay? Because the parachute will pull back and therefore the speed is reduced. Plane is going samne aise, piche se parachute is pulling it, so the speed is reduced. That means the impact, is reduced. Similarly, for Gnani also, Gnanam serves as to reduce the impact of life situations. This Gnanam of Satyam Mithya, even if he gets the worst shock, it can disturb him maximum for 1 or 2 days. But he has got the flexibility to recover because of the knowledge of the Mithyatvam. Okay, recognition of his Satyatvam, which means the knowledge, the knowledge of Mithyatvam, iti, of the events. That means it's all a projection, iti, he is able to see. Then, tyaktva karma phala sangam nitya tripto nirashrayah karmanya vipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. Another beautiful verse, that he has given up all attachment to the results of actions. Why? Because he's Purna. He's ever contented. He doesn't depend on anything. And then he does not do anything even though he is engaged in action. How can we say that? Because he recognizes he's Akarta. Okay? How does he recognize he's Akarta? Because he knows the consciousness that he is changeless, it is Satya. So even though he's fully involved in action, even though she is fully involved in action, she's, when you see her, she's so relaxed. It appears as though she's not involved in anything. Like supposing you are in a railway station saying bye to somebody. Okay. The train starts and someone who misses the train is running after it. You are on the platform, standing quietly over there, watching the whole scene. And at that time, you are a sthita prajna, Jivan Mukta. You are not disturbed at all. This fellow is running. Bhagne do. You are not bothered at all. Okay. So, Naiva Kinchit Karoti, very beautiful shlokas, not getting into it. You can watch, the YouTube videos. Accordingly, it will be there. It will be very good to watch now again, this whole Jnana section. Eh? One more point needs to be stated. And that is Krishna talks about a householder Gnani as well as Sannyasi Gnani. So in verses 20, 22, 23, 24, Krishna is talking about the Grihastha Gnani. Iti. Okay? And this beautiful verse is there. Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi. That is verse number 20. I have not put it up, I think. Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi. Brahmagno Brahmanahutam. Brahmevatena gantavyam. Brahma karma samadhina. Have I put it up? No, I have not put it up. I should have put it up. Okay? So in this, what Krishna is saying is, he's taken the example of Yajna and he's saying that everything in the Yajna is Brahman. The spoon with which you offer, the ahuti is Brahman, the fire is Brahman, the person who is offering is Brahman, because Brahman alone is to be reached, by him who sees Brahman in every action. It's a very beautiful verse describing the Grahastha Gnani. It's also considered a very, very important verse in the Gita, not because we chant it before eating, but because it talks about this highest knowledge that everything is Brahman. Brahman means everything is consciousness. That means it is one non-dual consciousness, which is the truth. Non-dual means where there is no two. There is only one thing here. Only one. Iti meaning there is only God here and there is nothing else here. Okay? So I'm not looking at it. This was there on 26th November ka, this thing. Worth looking, worth listening to again. So from this we come to know that liberation or moksha is not dependent on the ashrama. Sannyas ashrama loge to hi मैं मुझको मोक्ष मिलेगा, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. It is dependent on your wisdom. If you have wisdom, knowledge, moksha. We don't have it, then you're on the road. You're on the way. Iti. If knowledge is not there, every ashrama can become a bondage. In fact, sannyas ashrama is very risky if knowledge is not there, without wisdom. Grahast ashrama to theek hai, knowledge nahi hai to bhi chal jayega. Life chal jayega. But sannyasa life without jnanam is very, very risky. That's why if the moment a person takes sannyasa, if he is already a jnani, it is called as vidvat sannyasa. Otherwise, it is vividisha sannyasa, and immediately he should have the resources available for pursuit of knowledge, because that is closest to knowledge. Iti. So either I should be a jnani or I should be in the pursuit of jnanam if I am a sannyasi. Okay. Therefore, in our tradition, Puja Swamiji will not give sannyasa to anybody unless they have studied. Iti. And after the teaching, he will tell all of us, सन्यासी बनना है तो ठीक है, शादी करना है तो भी ठीक है. Both are okay. शादी करना है तो I can find somebody for you also. If you want, I will do that also. He has done that also. I know people for whom he has done matchmaking and all that. Iti. And once you have the knowledge, it doesn't matter, what you're doing, it doesn't matter at all. So sannyasa is very risky without jnanam, and so my personal opinion I am telling is that grahastha ashrama is the best ashrama, because it gives you opportunity for growth, and it gives you opportunity, if you follow this knowledge, to also culminate in moksha. So grahastha ashrama is the best, okay, as far as the way I see it, because sannyasa is so risky without knowledge. Okay. So jnanam is very required. So, that jnanam is required. Then the third topic, which is going to be from verse number 25 to 42, Krishna talks about the jnana sadhana and the falani. Means, what are the sadhanas required? Some of the sadhanas, and what are the phalas. So he talks about the 12 yajnas. And because I am running late, I'm only going to tell you the names. I have all the, Atma Jnana Yajna, we know it is the self-knowledge. Daiva Yajna, we know it is regular worship, whatever pujas we do. Vishaya Bhoga Yajna, whatever we enjoy, let it be as an offering to Lord. Let us offer whatever we enjoy to Lord. Dhamma Yajna is control over the senses. Shama Yajna is mastery over the mind. Dravya Yajna is Dhanam. Tapo Yajna is moderation in everything you do. Iti, no indulgence. Yoga Yajna is Ashtanga Yoga. Swadhyaya Yajna is Parayanam, either with the meaning or without the meaning. Jnana Yajna here is referring to all the auxiliary knowledge that you require for pursuit of this Atma Jnanam. For example, if I was teaching you in Malayalam, then you would have to learn Malayalam. Huh? So, in that sense. Then Pranayama Yajna is it becomes a yajna when you do your pranayam along with Lord's name. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Means in your mind you're doing Om Namah, you're doing your mantra or taking the Lord's name while doing pranayam. If you do pranayam as a therapy, it is not a yajna. Iti. Okay, then Ahara Niyama, the rules for discipline in eating, which is very good. Apna weight bhi mid jayega, health bhi improve ho jayega, mobility bhi aa jayegi. No? So it's very good. And Krishna talks more about this in chapter 16. Okay. In 17. Yeah. Then Krishna talks about the importance of guru. One should approach a guru who can communicate this teaching. Because many types of gurus are there. Inspiring guru is there. Initiating guru is there. Blessing guru is there. Pada puja guru is there. Iti. All gurus are good, but what we need is a teaching guru, iti, who can bring us the teaching of Shastra in a way that we can understand and we can also get clarification if we have doubts. Okay. So reading books is okay, it's useful, but we are not able to clarify our doubts. And sometimes, in fact, we don't recommend it at all. Learning by reading books, unless you have had a good amount of exposure to the Shastra, we don't recommend it at all. So then Krishna says some other qualifications, Tat Viddhi Pranipatena, that is number 34. Tad Viddhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya Upadekshyanti Te Jnanam Jnaninas Tattva Darshinaha. So may you have a spiritual guide, may you revere him, may you worship him, may you serve him. Very important part, okay, of sadhana, Guru Seva. And then Krishna talks also Shraddhavan Labate Jnanam, number 39. Tat Parasamyatendriyaha Jnanam Labdva Param Shanti Achirena Digachati. He had done all this. May you have faith in the words of the Shastra and the scripture. So if you're not able to swallow any statement, बोल रहा है कि मैं सत्यम हूँ और सब कुछ मिथ्या है, इथे if it appears to be, कि ये illogical है, ये सब कुछ is satyam, everything is real, iti, then you can always ask questions. How are you saying this? Eh? And so try your best not to reject the scriptures, because if you reject the scriptures, who is the loser? You are the loser. Okay? And normally teacher also we don't reject unless the teacher is extremely immoral, or is teaching some nonsense. Iti. So Shraddha is required. Krishna also said, Tatparaha, may they be commitment and do not criticize the scriptures. Okay? Because commitment should be there, because half-hearted effort will not give you any result. So make a very sincere attempt in understanding and following what you are convinced of. Following. Iti. Very, very important. I'm cutting short now the class. Okay. Yeah. Why? Because some people, they are worried what will other think. If I go to the class, लोग क्या बोलेंगे कि ये उम्र पे कोई क्लास पे जा रहा है, इति. Don't think of such things. You do what you are convinced about. Iti. Okay. Then the main sadhana mentioned is Jnana Yajna sadhana. Okay. That is the pursuit of the study is the most important. Why? Because the essential problem is one of ajnanam, and only jnanam removes ajnanam. Karma is not going to remove it. You can have many decorative, many candle stands, बहुत है, decorative ones है, plain ones है, simple ones है, सब कुछ है, कई सुंदर है, कई बहुत सुंदर नहीं है, सब कुछ है. पर काम की वस्तु क्या है? What is it that removes the darkness? Candle की stand भले जो भी हो, what removes the darkness is only the flame, right? So go for that. So all other sadhanas are important, they have their role, but none of them can remove ignorance, and therefore jnana sadhana is the most important sadhana. Okay? And there is a verse here which is saying aviroditaya karma na vidyam vinivartayet vidya vidyam nihantyeva tejas timiri sangavat. Now this is from Atma Bodha, which we will be doing next probably. Next text. I will take a break from Gita and do Atma Bodha with you all, and then we'll come back to Gita. Okay. So, Jnanam alone can remove ignorance, and Jnanam can come only through scriptural inquiry, because scriptures are like a mirror. अभी आपको अपना मुख देखना है. You want to see your face. How are you going to see your face? There's no way you can see your face unless you have some reflecting surface in front of you. Only then you can see your face. No? So in the same way, for you to know yourself, because you're not an object, every other means of knowledge only gives us knowledge, but you are not an object. So how are you going to know yourself? You need the Shastra Darpana. Iti. Okay? And Shastra Darpana means Shastra mirror. Helps me to see myself as I am, the original nature. And therefore, Jnana Yoga is the primary sadhana. And all others are supporting sadhanas, and Krishna makes that very, very clear. Okay. So Krishna says, Shreyan Dravya Mayad Yajnat
गीता का
Jnana
चैप्टर
Yajna Parantapa Sarvam Karma Kilam Partha Jnane Parisamapyate. Okay. Let me again mute everybody because I can make out the. Okay. So Arjuna, Jnana Yajna is the most direct means of liberation. With regard to other sadhanas, you can have options. For example, I am living on dakshina and I am living on donation. What donation can I make? So I cannot do danam. I'm not able to do much danam. I do danam, but I can't do much of it. Iti. Somebody else, everybody can't do pranayama. Iti. So there are options with reference to sadhana. You can choose one or two or more. You can choose whichever ones you feel are suitable for you. But with regard to Jnana Yoga, there is no option. Everybody has to eventually come one day or the other. You know, it's like you can enter a temple from many doors. South door hoga, north door hoga. You know, you should see some of these big old temples. There will be doors on every side. But to enter the sanctum sanctorium, you can enter only through one door. So too, that moksha door is available only through Jnanam iti. Then Krishna talked about 4 types of phala. And he talked about mohanasha, where all kinds of conflicts go away. I'm not 11. And the main thing is, it gives us the strength to face the future. We are all very scared of facing the future, iti. But the Jnani is the one who is objective and therefore can face the future very easily, has the strength to face. Okay, whether positive, negative, he goes ahead. Certain confidence comes because there's a Atma Balam. It's called as Atma Balam. Then there is Papa Nasha. Naturally, because you know your Akarta, all the Sanchita Karma, Papas, whatever you have done in this Janma and countless Janmas. Okay, any Janma, whatever Papa you did, all the Papa Nasha. Iti, because the person has recognized I'm not a Karta. Iti. Okay. So the Prarabh, okay, yeah. Then the third one is Sarva Karma Nasha. And how is it different from Papa Nasha? Because here the Punya Karma is included. The Sarva Karma Nasha was included to include Punya Karma, because if Punya Karma is sitting in your account and that is not gone, again you will have to have Janma. You will go to heaven and you will go here and there. Iti. So this Punya Karma ka nash bhi ho jata hai. Okay, because of that knowledge of Akarta iti. And last is technical. It is the person has the knowledge of Ishvara, you know, Aikya Darshanam. Jiva Ishvara Aikya Darshanam means he recognizes the identity between the Jiva and the Ishvara. It's like how the wave understands that the essence of me and the essence of the ocean is one water alone. Iti. So that kind of understanding takes place. Is able to say Aham Brahmasmi iti. So with that, the chapter 4 is over. And Krishna concludes by saying, I hope you're very, Krishna wants Arjuna to be very clear about his action. And what is Krishna indicating? That follow Karma Yoga first, purify yourself, follow Jnana Yoga, and be free. Okay, so that was chapter 4. And not bad. I finished it in 1 hour and 4 minutes. Okay. Om Purna. I was talking very fast, because I was thinking that because I want my 2 weeks of break, to follow my own retreat. I'm also going to sit and mull over everything and be very quiet and be in my own self for 2 weeks with a lot of Nididhyasana, like my own retreat, but it'll be retreat at home. Also, the other thing is, there's a lot of housework, so I'm getting tired. So I thought, okay, let me take, then something has to take this thing. So I've said I'll take a break and I think we can do Atma Bodha. I'll try to get you all the books. Okay. Atma Bodha. I'll think over it. Either Atma Bodha or we continue with chapter 5. I'll think about it. Okay. So Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om. Now Komal, I think, is going to take the, yeah? Okay, she'll take the prayer meeting. Om. Hari
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank
Koti
you.
koti
Om.
pranam.
Koti
Koti koti